Tonight on CTV News, we have a closer look at a film that showed here on campus.
Plus, we have an interview with a reporter who is at the Nevada caucus.
All this and more coming up on CTV News now. Thanks for tuning in to CTV News. I'm Willis Scott.
And I'm Carly Schwarzkopf, filling in for Cassandra Ozzie. Let's get started.
For 50 years now, one professor has been shooting for the moon, at least with a telescope. Roger Culver is Colorado State University's astronomy professor and has now announced his retirement for this August. He was brought on staff in the 1960s to develop the astronomy courses that didn't even exist back then. He teaches both the intro-level classes and astrophysics classes. He will always be remembered by his students as the professor that wore matching color socks to whatever shirt he wore. Thank you, Professor Culver, for teaching us to look towards the stars.
The Collegian sent 2 reporters to Nevada to cover both the Democratic and Republican caucus. Sadie Swanson and Eric Petrovic have been following the action for the past few days and are still there covering the results from the Republican caucus happening right now. Our producer, Alec Erickson, got to sit down over Skype with Eric to hear what he thinks this means for the candidates.
Now, the thing about Nevada is that it is the first state in the Western United States to report its results. This is important because Nevada's the first state that has varied demographics. Whereas Iowa, New Hampshire, South Carolina, even it's very heavy white. It's very heavy. It's all kind of the same demographic. Whereas Nevada has 27% Latino population. It's got a high Asian, black population. The results here from the Republican and Democratic parties caucuses will probably say a lot about how minorities are looking to vote in other states. The thing about Trump is that he's better at rallying people who wouldn't normally go out and vote. He's better at getting kind of a lower America, middle America is kind of the way I'm going to describe it. People who aren't involved in the political process to go out and vote, whereas usually minority populations are already very involved. I don't think he has to rely on minority votes. It's the other candidates that kind of have to appeal to that. Like Rubio's appealing to Latino. Clinton and Sanders very much appealed to minorities. I don't think Trump has to worry about minorities here. The candidates that aren't Trump or Sanders on both sides are trying to kind of appeal to Trump and Sanders' voters by taking some of their policies and things like that. Okay. Not specifically Nevada, but just in general.
Go on our YouTube channel for the full interview, and you can follow both Eric Petrovic and Sadie Swanson on Twitter for all the live updates from the caucus. Eric is at E-A Petrovic and Sadie is at Sadie Swan.
The National Collegiate Athletic Association will fund a research project on concussions headed by a Colorado State University professor. Doug Coatsworth, a professor in CSU's Department of Human Development and Family Studies, will receive $400,000 over 3 years to study the cultural dynamics of concussions. Coatsworth will be working along with concussion specialists, and they aim to see if America is developing a culture or resistance around reporting concussions.
After surviving a horrific event that killed nearly 11 million people, one man will tell his tale at Colorado State this Wednesday. 91-year-old Albert Rosa will be speaking at the Lurie Student Center at 7 in the evening. Rosa, who was taken by the Nazis at the age of 15, spent time in Auschwitz. He was able to escape and find Allied forces. His story will focus on his journey of escape, and tickets are not required to attend the event.
Over 500,000 torture survivors live in the U.S. Beneath the Blindfold is a documentary that tells the stories of 4 survivors and the impact torture has had on their physical and psychological health. Students and faculty attended the showing of Beneath the Blindfold in the LSC Theater last night. The film was followed by a Q&A session with one of the filmmakers and CSU professor Janet Sehorn.
Torture has not gone away. It may not be in the headlines as much, but if you dig a little, you drill down a little bit and you think about why there are refugees today, for example, fleeing Syria, fleeing Iraq, Afghanistan, many of them have been tortured or they're leaving because they're being threatened with torture. Torture has not stopped. This film was really about debunking some of the myths that we've been fed, as well as putting a human face on what torture is, what it is, what it isn't, and why we really shouldn't tolerate that as a democratic society, and why we shouldn't be supporting regimes that practice it around the world. This film has been shown in Asia and Australia and Europe and Turkey and India. It's been shown internationally. It's been at United Nations Human Rights Film Festivals. It's been shown in colleges around this country. Big coup for us was showing it in front of the U.S. Congress in Washington, D.C. back in 2014. That was a huge coup for us. And if it is able to change one person's mind or give a little bit of information that maybe somebody didn't consider before, if it changes the discussion a little bit, then I will have felt that we succeeded.
For more information about the film, you can visit beneaththeblindfold.com. Well, that's all the time we have for news.
But don't go anywhere. We have weather coming up with Neil Denman.
Stay tuned.
Tune in to KCSU, your student-run radio station at Colorado State University. Live 24 hours a day, every day at 90.5 FM and kcsufm.com. Live local new music now, and news, talk, and sports. KCSU, the radio voice of Colorado State, on the air since 1964.
You're watching CTV, produced by Colorado State University students, bringing you news, weather, sports, and entertainment from campus and beyond. CTV live Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. on campus and Fort Collins on Channel 11. Repeats at midnight, 8 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m.
The Rocky Mountain Collegian is your student-run news and information platform. Pick up your paper on campus or around Fort Collins Monday through Thursday with special editions Fridays. And check out collegian.com anytime for all the latest updates. News, sports, entertainment, opinion, and more. The Rocky Mountain Collegian, serving Colorado State since 1891.
College Avenue has been your student magazine for the last 10 years. College Avenue prints once a month covering topics that are relevant to the CSU and Fort Collins community. We also print special editions like the graduation guides at the end of each semester, the best of CSU each fall, and the orientation guide each summer. Look for us on racks around campus, off campus, or online at collegian.com under the College Avenue tab.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. I'm your weather anchor Neil Denman, here with all things weather related. Taking a look at our live cam courtesy of 9 News KUSA. There's not a whole lot of people out. Some people still going to the library and going out to the intramural fields, but the temperatures are going to keep dropping. And with that, let's take a look at our current temperature. Right now it's about 30 degrees outside. It's a little bit colder than we thought today. We hit about 45 earlier today. And if you noticed last night, we got a little tiny bit of snow, but emphasis on a little bit because there's hardly any of it left. Maybe a little bit in the grass, but all of it's gone. The sun finally came out this morning, so currently as the night goes on, the temperatures are going to start to continue to drop into the 20s, and we have a 6-mile-an-hour northwesterly wind that'll keep the temperatures a little bit cooler, so keep that in mind if you are going outside. Well, with that, let's take a look at our tomorrow's highs across the entire state. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. So if you're looking at our tomorrow's highs across the state, we're going to be seeing 30s and 40s in the mountains and western slopes. We have a 30 degrees in Gunnison, a 42 in Alamosa, and a 32 in Vail. And then along the Front Range, we're going to be seeing 50s and high 40s along the in 51 in Fort Collins, 49 in Denver, 55 in Pueblo, and a 49 in Colorado Springs. And then on the Eastern Plains, we're going to be seeing high 40s and a 56 in Lamar. Well, taking a look at tomorrow's highs, let's take a look at tonight's overnight lows. It's going to be quite cold across the entire state. We have single digits in places like Vail, Alamosa, Telluride, and then we have a 0 in Gunnison and Craig, and a 19 in Grand Junction. And then along the Front Range, we're going to be having a 17 here in Fort Collins, a 19 in Denver, a 17 in Pueblo, and a 15 in Colorado Springs. And then on the Eastern Plains, we're going to be having a single digits in Lyman with an 8 degrees, 18 in Burlington and Lamar, and a 17 in Sterling. Well, now that you know what tomorrow's temperature and tonight's temperature look like, let's look at your 7-day forecast right here in Fort Collins. Today was a bit chilly. We hit around 45 degrees, and tonight we have a low of about 21. But as the week goes on, we're going to be warming up with a 53 on Wednesday. And on Thursday, we're going to be hitting a 50. And on Friday, we're going to warm up just a little bit with a 60 degrees. And then on Saturday, we're going to hit a very nice 67 degrees. Before on the weekend, we're going to be seeing the clouds coming back, and we're going to have a 60 on Sunday and then a 59 on Monday. Well, Rams, that's all the weather I have for you right now, but please stay tuned because up next we have sports with Jason Ortiz and AJ Montgomery.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. I'm AJ Montgomery.
And I'm Jason Ortiz. Let's get right into the latest in CSU sports. It's been nearly 3 months since the last time CSU women's basketball has seen an L in that win-loss column, and about 14 years since they've been ranked in the AP Top 25. After breaking the record for most consecutive wins last Wednesday, the Rams just keep winning and winning and winning. And to be honest, I don't think the word loss is even in their vocabulary anymore. CSU is on a 21-game winning streak and just stuck out a close fight in the Border War No. 2 versus Wyoming. Even though the Rams sit at the top of the record books, none of the players are focused on that yet. They are focused on going 1-0 the rest of the season and getting into the big dance. Up next, the Rams head down to Albuquerque, New Mexico to take on the Lobos and look to extend their streak to 22.
Sadly, the Colorado State Rams men's basketball team is on a 3-game skid after a heartbreaking loss against our rival Wyoming Cowboys. The 84-66 final score last Saturday, the 20th, could be called an embarrassment in the second border war this year and are 0-2 on the year against the Cowboys. On the other hand, the Rams need to find a shovel somewhere to get them out of this 3-game losing streak hole against the 16-11 New Mexico Lobos today at 8 p.m. This will not be an easy test for the Rams because the Lobos are sitting second in the Mountain West Conference and are still hungry to make that #1 spot. So everyone, go take a break from whatever you're doing and go to Moby Arena and make your cheers heard, Rams.
All right, this is a segment we like to call Who's Your Baller, where every week AJ and I will be picking 2 players from each of the men's and women's basketball team, and whoever has a better stat line on the team that we pick, that anchor will get a point. So since AJ, you won both matchups last week, so who are your picks this week?
You know, Jason, I would have to go with John Gillen. He's averaging 12.5 points per game and averaging with 32 minutes per game, so there's no way he's going to drop less than 15 points. And for my woman baller, I would have to pick Ellen Nystrom. Her team high of 46 steals have helped the Rams to a 24-1 record. And so I feel like those are my 2 best picks.
I feel like those are 2 really good picks. But I think my picks, I picked Joe Deciman and Jamie Patrick. Joe is averaging about 10 points per game. He's had a slow season. Even though he plays majority of the game, he's only averaging 38% from the field goal. And last year, he put up 14 points against UNM, so you never know this week. And Jamie, she's been balling lately. She's averaging about 13 points a game. Last week against Utah State, she hit 7 3-pointers. She averages 50% from the 3-point line. I don't know. I think my girl's got it.
Some good picks, Jason. That's all the time we have for sports, but don't go anywhere.
After the break, we have the latest in entertainment with Nicole Hines.
Test scores, GPAs, credits complete. They say what you've done, but they're only part of who you will become. With each new experience, discovery, and triumph, you become who you were always meant to be. And what you'll remember most is your state of curiosity, state of unity, state of awe.
Welcome back from break, Rams. I'm your entertainment anchor, Nicole Hines. Here's your latest in entertainment news. Something that you may not know about CSU is that we have an equestrian team. The CSU IHSA team is a competitive horseback riding team that competes through Zone 8, Region 5, and has been around for only 2 years. This year, they have a chance to go compete in regionals and zones, which is being held in San Francisco, California. The team is completely self-funded and are in need of help raising funds in order to go compete at the event. Tomorrow, the team is holding a fundraiser at the Cold Stone Creamery located on Laurel Street from 5 to 7 at night. If you're in the mood for ice cream, and let's be honest, who wouldn't be, the team would greatly appreciate the support. Driving just got a bit more interesting. If you have not heard enough of Morgan Freeman speaking on screen, you can now catch him in your car when driving around town. That's right, Google's free navigation app Waze you can now choose him as a voice. The idea of having Freeman giving directions is a marketing strategy for his new upcoming film, London Has Fallen, that is hitting theaters in a little over a week. If you want to have his beautiful voice guide you to your destination, all you have to do is tap the little car on the bottom left of your screen, go to the settings, sound, voice language, and select Morgan Freeman. Once you get to your destination, Freeman states, "You've arrived. It has been my honor and duty to see you through this mission. And if you do not have the app yet, this is probably the best reason for you to go and download it." I'm now joined by Jessica Raleigh and James Gow. How are you? To talk about the CSU Collegiate Challenge. So how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
You good? Okay, so would you just tell us a little bit about what the Institute for Entrepreneurship is?
Yeah, so the Institute for Entrepreneurship is actually a center located in the College of Business, but we serve students all over campus, students that are interested in entrepreneurship, interested in starting companies, interested in innovation. This is what we do. We're here to support you.
So a few days ago, you had the 3-day startup challenge. Do you want to?
Yeah. So I'm not even in the College of Business. I'm actually a computer science student, and what the program is it's an international program that has been implemented in Harvard, overseas, all over the nations. 70 companies have come out of that program, raising $90 million in investment. And I just saw a big opportunity for CSU because a lot of the students here have a lot of talent, but they don't really know where to put their start or where to put their foot in the door. So that's why I wanted to bring it to CSU.
Yeah. So what were some of the companies that? Of that?
So there was a lot of companies that came out, ranging from like the highly technical to just like the most basic companies. One company we had was Virality, and it was a team. They built a virtual reality company in 3 days, marketed towards CSU for the admissions program. Prototype the virtual reality machine, and then there's another program called Pocket Pass, and it's a tailgating game, just for all the frat bros, just to throw down and drink at the football games. Yeah.
So are you guys gonna have the event again next year, or?
We think so. I think it went really well. The students really loved it. We really loved it. It was exhausting. It was 3 days straight, but it was totally worth it, and it was really fun. So yeah.
Yeah. So what's the CSU Collegiate Challenge that's coming up?
So the CSU Collegiate Challenge is actually a business pitch competition. It's open to students from any student at any university across Colorado, and actually about 10 states in the Mountain West, so including Arizona, Utah, Wyoming. And it's a business pitch competition for $20,000 in cash. So the winner gets $20,000 in cash for no equity in a company. Is a pretty substantial amount of money.
That's great. So would you like students to participate in?
I think it's probably one of those things where any entrepreneur will tell you that the hardest thing is getting capital. The hardest thing is raising money for your business to get it off the ground, and especially money that's free. Usually, for money that you get, you either end up having to pay back with interest. You have to give away equity in your company. This is a way to get a pretty substantial amount of money for none of that, and to keep all the equity in your company. So it's a really good learning opportunity.
So the students who win, they get it's actually going to be an app that they?
It can be
Or like a
anything.
business?
It's a business, any business. It's open to all disciplines all over campus. So it doesn't have to necessarily be an app. It can be anything. The first year there was a social business that won. She's in Vietnam. Second time was an app company actually out of Boulder.
All right, well, that is all the time we have for CTV. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night at CTV News and have a great night, Rams.